Welcome to another deep dive, and this time we're looking at self-doubt. That feeling that we all get sometimes and how to overcome it.
It's something we all struggle with.
Exactly. And, well, our main source today is Mindset, the new Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck.
Yeah, Dweck really digs into how our beliefs about ourselves shape our lives.
And the book kind of gives us like a roadmap for understanding how to overcome those negative beliefs, right?
Right, and it all starts with, understanding the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset.
Okay, so what exactly do those terms mean?
Well, with a fixed mindset, you tend to see your qualities, like your intelligence or your talent, as just fixed traits. Like you're either good at something or you're not.
Ah, I see. So it's like that feeling of I'm just not a math person.
Exactly. And with a fixed mindset, you're afraid of failure because it means you're just not good enough.
Makes sense. So then what about the growth mindset? How's that different?
Well, someone with a growth mindset believes that their abilities can be developed, through effort and learning, so they see challenges as opportunities to grow.
Instead of threats,
Right, and this makes them more resilient because they're not as afraid to make mistakes.
because they see them as learning opportunities.
Exactly.
So is it like saying that someone with a growth mindset would actually like seek out challenges?
Absolutely. They want to learn and develop their abilities. They're not just trying to prove themselves.
Which probably helps a lot with overcoming self-doubt.
Yeah. You got a growth mindset lets you see self-doubt as a sign that you're actually growing and stretching yourself.
Yeah. So how do we cultivate a growth mindset? Is it just positive thinking or are there other things we can do?
It's more than just, thinking positive thoughts. It's about how you approach challenges. One thing you can do is focus on the process instead of just the outcome.
What do you mean by that?
Instead of worrying about whether you succeed or fail, pay attention to the effort you put in and what you're learning along the way.
Okay, so like if I'm learning to play the guitar,
Yeah, like that.
don't get discouraged because I'm not Jimi Hendrix yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Focus on the fact that you're practicing, you're learning new chords, you're getting better.
Celebrate those small wins
That's it, because it's easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to other people.
or focusing on that end goal.
Right, but celebrating your progress can really keep you motivated.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
What else? Well, another thing you can do is be mindful of your self-talk. Instead of saying, I'm not good at this, try saying something like, I'm learning.
So it's about changing our language from self-criticism to self-encouragement.
Yeah, that shift in how you talk to yourself can make a huge difference in how you approach challenges and deal with setbacks.
This is really interesting. Are there any other specific tips for developing a growth mindset?
Well, one that Dweck talks a lot about is seeking feedback, ask people for their honest opinions and be open to constructive criticism.
That could be tough though, right?
Uh,
Especially if you're already feeling a bit insecure.
Oh, it definitely takes courage. But remember, feedback can help you identify areas you can improve in.
And if you see feedback as a chance to grow, it's not so scary.
Right. And when you approach feedback with a growth mindset, you'll be surprised at how much you can learn and improve.
Okay, so we've been talking about, shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. But I'm wondering, like, how does this actually work in real life?
Well, Dweck's book has a bunch of examples, but one that really stuck with me was the story of Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, you mean like the basketball legend?
Yeah, you'd think he'd be like the most confident guy ever, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's Michael Jordan.
But you know what? He was actually cut from his high school varsity basketball team.
No way, seriously.
Yeah. And I mean, can you imagine how tough that must have been, for a young athlete with big dreams?
I can't even imagine.
But instead of letting that experience, define him, he
Yeah.
used it to push himself. He practiced like crazy and he just kept getting better.
So it's like that setback became a turning point for him.
Right. And Jordan's story is a good reminder that lots of successful people have faced rejection. They've had to overcome setbacks. What sets them apart is how they responded to those challenges.
They didn't let those setbacks define them.
That's it. A growth mindset helps you bounce back from those tough times. You learn from your mistakes and you keep moving forward.
And this isn't just about sports, right? This applies to anything in life.
Absolutely.
So like, let's say you're dealing with something difficult at work, a project that seems really overwhelming.
Okay.
How can a growth mindset help you deal with that?
One thing that can help is to break down the task into smaller steps.
So instead of getting overwhelmed by the whole thing,
Right. You just focus on making progress one step at a time.
it makes it less intimidating.
Exactly. And you get that sense of accomplishment as you check things off your list.
And you can figure out if you need help with certain parts, right?
Yep.
which goes back to that whole idea of asking for feedback.
Right. With the growth mindset, you see those challenges as chances to learn and grow.
Instead of being afraid of them.
Exactly. And that can be really empowering. You don't have to know everything right away. You can just approach things with curiosity and a willingness to learn.
And I bet that approach helps you deal with change, too.
Oh, absolutely. In today's world, things are changing all the time, so being able to adapt is so important.
And a growth mindset helps you do that.
Yep, it gives you the tools to face those changes with confidence.
So we've talked about some specific things like breaking down tasks and asking for feedback. Is there anything else we can do to really build that growth mindset?
Well, one really powerful thing is to surround yourself with people who have a growth mindset. Find mentors or friends or colleagues who are supportive and encouraging.
So they can be like your cheerleaders.
Yeah, exactly. And on the other hand, try to limit your time with people who are always negative. Those people who kind of reinforce those self-doubts.
Because that can be really draining.
It can, and it can hold you back from achieving your goals.
So it's like creating a positive environment for growth, both around you and within yourself.
And remember, developing a growth mindset is a journey. It's not about being perfect or never having doubts again.
It's about knowing how to deal with those doubts.
Right, you recognize those thoughts and you challenge them with more positive beliefs.
Choose to focus on those growth mindset beliefs.
It's all about realizing that you have the power to choose your thoughts, and those thoughts can really shape your reality.
We've been talking about how a growth mindset helps us achieve our goals and overcome self-doubt, but I'm curious, how does this mindset affect our relationships with other people?
That's a great question. You know, our mindset really does shape how we connect with others, whether it's, romantic relationships, friendships, or even family dynamics.
Okay, so let's talk about fixed mindset first.
Yeah.
How does that play out in relationships?
Well, someone with a fixed mindset tends to approach relationships with this need for validation. They're looking for a partner who will constantly tell them how great they are, how smart they are, and they might be really sensitive to any criticism. They take it really personally.
Like they're always trying to prove themselves, even in their closest relationships.
Exactly. And that can create a lot of tension and conflict.
Right.
Imagine a couple where one person has a fixed mindset and they're always looking for reassurance.
Yeah, the other partner might feel pressured to constantly give compliments and support, and that could get really exhausting.
Oh, absolutely. And if they don't get that reassurance, they might feel insecure and start to doubt the relationship.
So then how does a growth mindset lead to healthier relationships?
Well, people with a growth mindset see their partners as individuals.
Yeah.
They're both on their own journeys of growth and development. They're not looking for someone to complete them or validate their worth.
They're more focused on connecting and understanding and supporting each other's growth.
Right. And because they're not afraid of making mistakes, they're more open and honest with their partners. They're also more willing to work through challenges together. They see those challenges as opportunities to learn and grow as a couple.
That sounds so much better than constantly trying to prove yourself or avoiding any kind of conflict.
It really is. And Dweck actually shares some really great examples in her book of couples who have totally transformed their relationships by shifting to a growth mindset. They talk about learning to communicate better, forgiving each other's mistakes, and celebrating each other's successes.
It makes you think about how important it is to be with someone who shares a similar mindset.
Yeah.
If you're committed to growth, you want to be with someone who supports that.
Absolutely. And it's not just about romantic relationships. Surrounding yourself with friends and family who have a growth mindset can make a huge difference. It creates this really positive environment where you feel comfortable taking risks and pushing yourself.
So it's about building a community of people who believe in you and inspire you.
Exactly. And remember, developing a growth mindset is an ongoing thing. It's not about being perfect or never having self-doubt again. It's about recognizing those thoughts and choosing to challenge them.
Choosing to focus on those more empowering beliefs.
Exactly. And realizing that you have the power to choose your thoughts, and ultimately those thoughts shape your reality.
Well, this has been such an insightful conversation. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on how mindset can shape our lives, not just our achievements, but our relationships and just our overall well-being.
It's been great diving into this with you, and I really hope our listeners feel inspired to embrace the power of a growth mindset. With the right mindset, you can overcome those doubts, achieve your goals, and build really strong relationships that support your journey.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into mindset. And be sure to check out Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success for even more insights.